Freelance writing saved my life. You see, about 10 years ago, I was homeless. Not couch surfing homeless, but secretly sleeping in a tent just inside of Washington Park in downtown Portland style homeless. I'd made a series of really bad decisions that ultimately led to me getting kicked out of my apartment, having my car repossessed, and eventually hitting rock bottom, experiencing some pretty serious depression. I was real homeless, okay? And what ultimately helped me to get off the streets and, as I said, literally save my life was discovering the world of freelance writing. While I was wasting time at the public library, I used to go to the public library, the Multnomah County Library, some of you know it in Portland. You'd go to the downtown, the real big, beautiful red building, and I would just spend time on the computers. I'd just walk the stacks and just, read books whenever I could. It's mostly just to stay out of the rain, but I eventually picked up a few books like The Copywriter's Handbook by Bob Bly, The Well-Fed Writer by Peter Bowerman, and even The Wealthy Writer by Michael Meanwell. And it was in reading those books that I discovered you could actually make money by typing stuff on a computer. It was like a huge light bulb, right? And that you could do it from anywhere. Like, for example, the public library computers. I could literally start a business and start making money without having a physical address or without having a place to live. For me, that was huge. And I'm eternally grateful for discovering those books, but they were outdated even then. And that was 10 years ago. And they were more of sort of like a, this is what freelancing writing is kind of book. They didn't really give like a plan to follow that I could plug in and say, okay, this is my clear path forward. They were a good spark, but not a great roadmap. So in those early days, I did what most writers do, and maybe you're doing this right now. I went to, it was before it was Upwork. I went to Elance, right? And I started churning out these low-paying, keyword-stuffed articles for like $5 or $10. The client would say, I need 27 articles on, HVAC repair in Phoenix, Arizona, or whatever it was. And it certainly wasn't glamorous work, and I sincerely hope I never have to go do it again, but it was a start. And it was that money which helped me get back on my feet, get my first apartment, and ultimately put me in a place stable enough that I could really focus on building a legitimate, long-term freelancing career into the mid-six-figure level that it is today. So 10 years later, you're listening to my voice on this video, and I am in a position to give back to up-and-coming writers who may be, maybe you're not homeless, maybe even financially you're okay, but you want to have a business like I have. You want to know, how do I go from zero to this awesome writing business as fast as possible? Well, look, I can teach you how to do that because 8 out of the 10 years that I've been doing this, I've earned more than $100,000 a year in client fees for the writing work that I've done. I've been fortunate enough to write for people like Mel Robbins and Success Magazine, Russell Brunson, and on and on and on. Freelance writing has allowed me the unique and beautiful and wonderful privilege to meet my personal heroes. People like Peter Diamandis. Okay? He's the guy who put together the X Prize. I don't know if you remember the X Prize. He put like a big challenge for people to make the first private spacecraft, right, that would launch and come back within 24 hours. He basically single-handedly launched the private space race. I've been able to work with him as a writer on his content and getting his message into the world and getting people excited about space and science and all this really cool stuff. I've also had Tony Robbins. Everybody knows who Tony Robbins is. To my absolutely gleeful delight, has read the words that I wrote on camera. I wrote a script for him and he read it on camera, and it's been seen by thousands of people all over the world. And the thing is that I'm now at a point in my career where I've also been able to give back and to train more than 24 people just like you on how to build a profitable and, most importantly, enjoyable freelance writing business just like I have. So people like Peter, he was one of my very, very first students who came to me because he was really struggling as an Upwork writer. He was having a hard time getting the $10 an article jobs. Now, after working together for some time, him and I working together, he now earns regularly more than $1,000 a day typing words on the screen for clients who actually like him and respect him and are grateful to be paying the fees that he receives. There's also Kate, again, one of my very early students, who was when I met her, she was earning less than $3 an hour writing these awful articles, right? And yes, you heard correctly, that is $3 an hour. And her love of writing was so strong, and this is what was so impressive about her, that she was willing to make less than minimum wage writing low-dollar articles for international clients who didn't even speak English, just so she didn't have to go get a real job. Now, after she and I have worked together for some time, both her and her husband, because she dragged her husband into it, they both now earn more than $100 an hour as freelancers. Or what about Deb, another more recent student of mine? So she's a former corporate employee who didn't really have like a bunch of writing experience, but we were able to work together, and she not only transitioned out of that career to go full-time writing, but she's since more than tripled her income as a writer since going full-time. There's also people like Jessica and Justin and Greg who all earn more than $100 an hour as freelance writers, all students of mine who have followed a few simple ideas to create a writing business that they actually enjoy. Anyways, the point in me telling all of you this is not to brag. They're the ones who did the hard work, not me, right? I had my business, I just showed them what I do, and frankly, my story actually isn't that special, right? Okay, yeah, cool, Mike, you were homeless, now you have a big business, I don't really care. It's not special to you if it doesn't help you directly. So I want to make sure that before you leave this page and you go download those client getting templates, I want to make sure that you understand two things. Number one, if you want to be a full-time writer, do it. There is so much demand for the right kind of writers, and that's the key, by the way, it's the right kind of writers, that it is, in a lot of ways, more profitable and more stable than most career paths. You control when you get clients, you aren't reliant on someone else to tell you how much to work or how much you can earn. You have all the choice in really controlling your destiny, I don't want to sound dramatic, but literally in controlling at least your financial destiny, which means that you can design a business that works with your specific needs as a human. And the second thing that I want you to take away is that getting started as a writer and making the transition to full-time is actually pretty easy once you know the core fundamentals of what it actually takes to get paid well and consistently. Running a freelance writing business is not like trying to build a software business where you've got like a team of engineers and you need investors and you need all these things. It's actually very, very simple. It's simply identifying, which niche should you write for and which ones will never be able to pay you well no matter how awesome you are as a writer. Some writers are simply making the mistake of selecting the wrong niche. Like they could be earning livable income, better than full-time income, if they took that same passion, that same energy, and they matched it with a niche that maybe the niche itself was built to be able to pay you more. Or, for example, some of the other fundamentals that you need are things like knowing which writing specialty to go after if you actually want to get paid. So there's a lot of writers that think either you write blog posts and you don't get paid, right? So this is the $5, $10 blog post, or you sell your soul to the copywriting gods to get paid a lot, right? So you write sales letters and you write advertisements, and it's like, I don't want to write that kind of stuff. But there's actually a wide range of different writing specialties that pay better than full-time incomes. And chances are at least one of those specialties fits your personality perfectly if you know where to look. And until you find that perfect specialty for you, you will struggle as a writer. I would say the only reason I haven't made $100,000 a year 10 out of 10 of the past 10 years that I've been writing is because it took me almost a year and a half to figure out what the perfect specialty for me was, where it was sort of my sweet spot where I enjoyed it, but I also, they paid well, right? I mean, I wasn't doing it for free. I wanted to make sure that I was getting paid. So all those fundamentals, that's exactly what I want to share with you today. I want to give you the core of what it takes for going full-time and building a writing business that you love. So I've distilled my decades-long experience, the lessons that I've learned from making all of the mistakes, every single mistake that they say don't make, I've made them all, into a one-of-a-kind guide. And this guide is structured to help you go full-time in 90 days or less. If you follow it along and you do exactly what it says to do, that's a very realistic goal for you to be able to go full-time in basically 3 months, right? So with the step-by-step process that I've laid out for you, that's what you'll follow, Plus, I'll show you how to choose a niche, how to choose a writing specialty, how to get clients, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And if this sounds interesting to you, then for the next 3 days, I want you to have this guide, and I'm calling it the 90-Day Writer because I'm not very, creative when it comes to titles. It's pretty straightforward. What you read is what you get. I want you to get that for just $7, okay? The 90-Day Writer for just $7. Normally I charge $47, but you can get it for $7 within the next 3 days. So if you've been thinking about making the leap to writing full-time, or maybe you already do write full-time, but the client work, maybe it's just not paying what you thought it would, or maybe you're struggling to get consistent work. Maybe 1 month you have really good work, and then another month you kind of struggle, or you just want to see what it might possibly be like what it really takes to start and build a profitable freelance writing business. I want you to take advantage of this $7 offer today. I want you to pick up the 90-Day Writer for just $7, and I want you to do so because I created it for people like you. So people who want to undergo a complete 90-day writing business makeover, or people who want to get advice from a 10-year veteran, that's myself, of the writing life, to see what it actually, what's actually working right now in today's world. Not what was working 20 or 30 years ago when those awesome but outdated books, they're like, one of the pieces of advice from one of those books was like, write a handwritten letter to local businesses, that's, maybe it works, but it's 2018. There's a ton of other stuff you can do that works way better than that, way faster as well. So in this guide, I've told you what's working literally right now in 2018. I've also created this guide for people like you who want their one and only source of income to come from typing words on the screen. I can show you how to do that. I can also show you that, really $3,000 to $5,000 a month as a writer is super easy, and honestly, you should probably be thinking a little bit bigger. If you run a business, there's really no income cap. You can structure the business in a way that will allow you to create more. And for those of you who purchase the 90-Day Writer, I'll show you how to do that, or we'll talk a little bit about that structure. Now, I'm so convinced that the 90-Day Writer is worth at least $7. I mean, that's not very much money, that I'm willing to offer you a 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. So if you pick up the guide, you put in the work, and for whatever reason you don't like it, then you just send me an email and you'll get every single penny back. No hassle, no drama. You send the email, we give you your money back within a very reasonable time frame. So to take advantage of this pricing, which again, I normally sell this for $47, and to get the security of the 30-day money-back guarantee, you need to order within the next 72 hours. This is a sort of what you might consider a flash sale. It's only for, it's on sale right now for you specifically. So frankly, you probably should do it now before you forget. Life gets in the way, and if you don't order now, you could end up paying 5 times more than, by paying the regular price than if you just get it right now for $7. So if you aren't quite sure about the $7 or the 30-day money-back guarantee, you can learn more about what's contained in this guide by reading the page below. Or if you're ready to rock and you want to join me inside the 90-Day Writer, you can simply scroll to the bottom of this page and click the order button now. Now again, I've put 10 years of writing experience along with the lessons I've learned in helping others to succeed into the meat of the 90-Day Writer. So everything you need to master the fundamentals of what it takes to build and run a writing business, it's all there. And if you're looking for a proven path for making writing work for you, this is it. Now all you have to do is click the buy button on the bottom of this page to get instant access for just $7.